The Bears.
Because of the way they play the nickel corner here, and the nickel corner plays 88, 85% of the snaps. He's got to be like part linebacker.
The Bears.
When you're in a scouting room, there's going to be differences of opinion.
The Bears.
Well, you're looking at traits. And remember when he tested very, very well.
The Bears.
Greg, why are teams wrong on quarterback evaluation so often?
Number one, it's a hard position to evaluate.
Former Bears scouting director Greg Gabriel talks football live every week on the Barroom Network. Also available on demand.
Look, I think it's a good time to be a Chicago Bears fan. There's a lot to be excited about. But let me tell you something. We are past the point of excuses. If things go sour, you have used up all of the patience that Chicago has to offer.
The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. What's going on, my man Tooch? I've texted my man KB. He's on his way. He's getting his laptop ready. He's got to do all the things in the morning before he just hops on. But my man Tooch is here with me. What's going on, brother? How was your week?
Week's going good. Getting that last minute Christmas stuff going. We got some Bears action today. Look, the Bears got, 3 games left?
Yeah.
We're 4-10. There's not much to play for. And the big question we had on Bare Their Souls was whether or not you think Caleb Williams should keep playing, because an injury at this point in the season would pretty much knock out his 2025. So, and we talked about why not just let Bajan play the last 3 games, but
I can't do it, man. I feel like he's still learning things. There's still throws that he's missing, and even if he's getting his ass kicked, the fact that he's hopping back up is showing his toughness, So anyone I questioned his toughness coming in. I didn't watch a whole lot of Pac-12 football. Except for when USC played like Notre Dame or something in some time zone where I could actually see them, and I had questions about his toughness coming in, but there's definitely no question about it now if you're actually watching Bears games.
He's proven to be durable.
Yeah, and he's still got, I'm sure, goals that he wants to hit in this season, whether it be yards, touchdowns, or just going through his progressions. We still see problems with his footwork from time to time. So consistency, and he's not going to learn any of that kind of stuff on the bench. He's got to learn that by going going through it. I do want to say I'm sure we have a lot of Fighting Irish fans in our chat room. Congratulations to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They won the Battle of Indiana, and they move on to take on Georgia with a backup quarterback. So I know sometimes people hate when I talk college football, but I think they kind of got a shot. I know I'm an SEC guy, so I love the SEC, and Georgia's got a fantastic defense. But I really think that more than ever, Notre Dame and the transfer portal has opened this ability for these teams to do these things. So shout out to Notre Dame. Ohio State screwed me last night. I lost the parlay because of it. I talked to you about it. I had Tennessee +7. I didn't think they'd win, but I thought they'd cover. SMU got demolished by Penn State. I don't know if a lot of people are taking that to show Alabama should have been in the playoff, or someone else, or South Carolina, other teams that just barely missed. But when you lose to a 6-6 Oklahoma team, even as an SEC guy, I don't think you should be in the playoff. And then what was the other game? So I had Penn State.
Florida played a little earlier. What was that, Friday?
I'm talking about the playoff games. We had 4 playoff games.
Sorry. Yep. There was
Notre Dame, Penn State,
Tennessee,
Ohio
State, and
who was in the middle there?
Had 3 yesterday. Didn't it?
Texas beat Clemson.
Texas, Clemson. Yep.
So those teams move on, and I like that they went to 12 games, because when it was a 4-team playoff, there was a lot of time. Like last year, you had an undefeated Florida State team who got kept out because of their quarterback, they said. And who knows what they would have. I mean, they got blown out by Georgia in a bowl game, but a lot of their team, kind of opted out because it wasn't a playoff game, And so I think the more the merrier. And some people were worried that it would ruin the regular season, I guess. But I think it just enhanced it. It made me care about the ACC championship this year. SMU versus Clemson. I wouldn't have cared either way. Historically, but it mattered. It meant something. But it was it was a crazy day for college football. I just thought I'd want to touch on that before we move on, because I know our Bears fan base kind of Venn diagrams with Notre Dame a
Tennessee
lot.
team total under, and that was it. I didn't like. I mean, I had a hard time handicapping. I liked Clemson plus all those points.
Mm-hmm.
I thought SMU, going into Happy Valley, I mean, that's a tough place to play.
I just thought that's a team from Dallas that has to go up to Penn State. I thought they were at a disadvantage in the first place. They never play in the weather like that. So
that defense on Penn State is legit.
Yeah, I'm if that edge rusher Carter falls, any chance?
Abdul Carter, yep.
I feel like he's one of the only guys where I would say, okay, let's bypass the offensive tackle this round and grab.
It's not like we don't need pass rush.
That's true. That's true. But I feel like O-line is just a top need. I mean, Braxton Jones is a free agent. Tevin Jenkins is a free agent.
I might as well throw this up there.
Yeah, they ranked 26th in the D-line, ranked 23rd.
Yeah. I mean, both sides of the trenches need work, according to Clay Harbor, NFL. He ain't wrong. Aaron.
Yeah. They but that's what makes this job enticing for people. If for some reason Ryan Poles is let go, and I feel like if we finish this out on an 11-game losing streak, he owns 2 of the biggest losing streaks in Bears history, which is a big history. D. Levine's in here, or is it Levine? Fire Poles. I feel like if he finishes out a losing streak,
I'm not a fan. I haven't liked him since the Chase Claypool acquisition. The one thing we do know is that the Bears will have a new head coach next year.
Absolutely.
That's one thing we can say with all certainty. Who it will be, no idea. I mean, a lot of people claim that the Bears need sort of a culture rebuild because, as I said, in the past 2-3 years of Ryan Poles' regime, he's owned the 2 longest Bears losing streaks in team history. That's 105 years of Bears history, and he owns the 2 longest streaks. Well, tied for 8. If they lose today, he'll own the 2 longest streaks in Bears history. But whether or not Poles remains, I think he should be gone. I mean, I flashed up a whole bunch of stuff. and bare their souls about his building of the offensive line. Jeez, I forgot. Where's
Aldo made a whole video of it on Buffon 55. Talking about the moves that they made and didn't make.
Yeah,
we talk about this last game. We saw Amagaji, the 3rd round pick. You used the 3rd round pick on a kid out of Yale that you had long arms and had potential, but you used the 3rd round pick. Your 3rd round pick is supposed to play, contribute, do something. And his 3rd round picks have been Velus Jones, Zach Pickens, who was thrown in due to injury and hasn't done much, and then Amagaji. I just he hits on 1st round picks. I think I like Darnell Wright still. I know a lot of people still squabble with that or Jalen Carter, but it is what it is. You can't turn back time at this point. I like the Caleb pick. I like the Rome pick. I know revisionist history. We probably should have went with an offensive lineman, but when you got possibly the best receiver in the draft sitting there looking at you, it's hard to pass on that when you just grab your franchise quarterback. So
I got to be honest with you. I wanted Brian Thomas Jr.
Well, I like LSU receivers. I do. The only one that I've liked that hasn't turned out is
with Jordan Silvera. I'm like, Brian Thomas Jr. We weren't getting Malik Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
He was gone.
Yeah.
And when I talked, I argued with Jordan about this, not with any animosity, just bandying thoughts about. And I'm like, when I watch games, I'm watching Rome Odunze and Brian Thomas Jr. There's a hell of a lot more separation with Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, Rome Odunze seems to. I mean, he makes contested catches, runs good routes. He's got great hands. His athleticism is great too. But Brian Thomas Jr. has otherworldly speed. And that helps him with his separation, and he's big, and he's arguably had a better season on a maybe a worse team, But what do you think about that? Baralissimo's question?
I don't know if I do or not. I mean, my biggest concern is, and I think if we lose out, I think Kevin Warren's going to want to pull the trigger and start over with his vision. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I have no idea. I just know it's something different, and you can't get something different if you continue to do the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's the definition of insanity. But this is an enticing job.
What do you think is more important, coach or GM?
I think it's GM. I do.
Really? I think it's coaching.
I like to think coaching, but
to me, coaching matters.
Look at how this team was built, though. I mean, the biggest issue we're having is in the trenches. How do you build in the trenches? A head coach doesn't make that call. A GM makes that call.
Right, but the coach is responsible for the development of the quarterback and the improvement of the players. And not only that, but there's less good coaches in the NFL. I think it's important to maybe identify and find that one. And wins. NFL is a results-oriented business. Wins is the bottom line.
Yeah.
To me,
I'd say they're both equal. I mean, it's hard to put one or the other because you have to have the talent, but you also have to have the coach.
I don't think we owe Ryan Poles anything to pick another coach.
They've given him plenty of chances. They've allowed him to do things he wanted to do. Trade second-round picks for pass rushers, trade second-round picks for wide receivers, trade 4th, 6th, etc. round picks this year to try and hit an offense, which that's another thing. Ryan
I don't
Ryan
know.
Bates went on IR yesterday.
Baralissimo's in the chat room. But where are we picking this year in the draft? I mean, what kind of picks do we have as far as
we're ninth right now?
Not like placement. Like what picks do we have? First, second. I know we got a couple seconds. How many picks do we have in the draft?
First, 2 seconds, and a third. I think it's 4.
I just don't have it in my notes today,
but 4 picks in the top. Because you got
we have like 4 picks in the top 50 or something, or 100.
We got 3 picks in the top 50.
3 picks.
We got 4 picks in the top 80. I would say.
So let me ask you a question. If a new head coach, is coming in and he wants his own GM, I mean, how do you say no, right?
I mean, it's hard to, but we've got. I mean, look what happened in L.A. when they brought in Harbaugh. He brought in his own GM.
Because I mean, you've got
like to be the GM.
If you're thinking like, for example, bringing in Ben Johnson, and I said this, I talked about this on Bears Day, or you're trading for Sean McVay, because these guys, when they were with the Rams, Ray Agnew is the Lions assistant GM. He was with the Rams when Kevin Warren worked for the Rams. So there's some connections there. As far, I mean, we've talked about trading for Sean McVay. It's not happening. It's great to talk about. Would I love to have Sean McVay? Yes, I think he's probably one of the best coaches in the NFL, if not the best. Yeah. But if you're talking about a coach bringing in his own GM, there's some connection right there. Ray Agnew and Kevin Warren. Ben Johnson, you bring him. He maybe wants to keep working with this guy in Detroit, Ray Agnew. And then as far as selecting a new head coach, like I said, I don't think we owe Ryan Poles anything. I don't think we owe him another chance at selecting a coach. As far as the offensive line, let me just. I know you talked about offensive line. We gave up a 5th round pick for Ryan Bates, who's out for the season. We got less than 100 snaps out of the guy. Gave up a 6th round pick for Dan Feeney, who I don't think saw the field. They
tried to stick him in one time. I wanted him to work, but I don't.
Right, so did I. I love the story, local kid, but didn't work out. It cost us a couple draft picks. The Bears have $68 million. I know. We could give Poles some credit for coming in and cleaning up the cap and all that stuff. And I know KB's waiting back there to only get this out real quick, KB, and then you can tear me apart when you come in. The Bears have $68 million tied up into 5 players. I'll give you the 5 names. Keenan Allen, who might not be here next year. We gave up a 4th round pick for him as well. Tremaine Edmonds hasn't played up to expectations. Nate Davis, he's gone. Didn't work out. Gerald Everett, who he's one of the worst free agent signings. I wanted to speak on that. DeAndre Swift, who's played well.
Right. I had DeAndre Swift, they want him to be something he's not. He never has.
He's played well, though.
If he has, I don't know. I still have concerns because I don't see him breaking tackles. I see him.
Yeah, he's a little guy. And he's not that type of player.
Barry Sanders was a little guy, but his legs never stopped moving. You know what I'm saying?
He probably he had like 20 pounds on Swift.
But Gerald Everett, I had high hopes when they brought him in. I was like, okay, now we've got.
I knew it was bad.
Well, you're a fantasy guy. Gerald Everett has been a viable fantasy option, and that's really all I had to go off of with him.
He's never been a blocking tight end.
And I wonder, is it the coaching? Because Cole Kmet, when he gets the damn ball, when he gets the ball in his hands, is magical. He breaks tackles. He never goes down on contact, it seems like. But they don't get him the ball off. I think he's had like 3 targets in the last 4 games or something. Yep. I'll bring in my man KB and let him speak on this. But I did look it up. We have, according to Pro Football Focus, we have 5 draft picks in the top 150. If you go down that far.
Who's that handsome guy over there?
This is a handsome guy who's struggling this morning. You hear me? Struggling. I've been up trying to find my damn laptop charger for the past 20 minutes. Can't find shit. I don't know what's going on, man.
Well, before we get into everything, KB, because you're there in the trenches in South Bend, how was your Friday night, brother?
Friday night, bro. Good God. As you guys seen, I pretty much was up for 22 straight hours on Friday working. I've dealt with everything that day, from goddamn grandma falling in the fucking changing room at a Walmart to
no,
aunties being drunk in parking lots, sleeping in the car.
Go Irish,
bro. All the way to the worst of it, man. It shit that lasted for almost 3.5 hours. So, Friday was a whirlwind. I had shit going on yesterday, so I had to get up still, and I didn't get to sleep till probably like 3 a.m. So, yeah. But that being said, man, South Bend's madhouse this weekend. God, people. That's all I'm gonna say. People. So I'm happy that
don't
that
you love the
portion.
holidays?
Bro, the holidays and this damn Notre Dame IU game, bro. I was God, bro. People need to go home. Uh, so I'm just happy this weekend's over. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna get any better over the next weekend. It is what it is, but I see y'all boys talking about this this GM thing and who should get a coach, and I'm with you on that one, man. Touche, I don't think Poles, you owe him anything for, hey, you should be able to find another coach. I believe if Kevin Warren came out and said, or whatever the rumors were about Kevin Warren saying he gonna lead the search, I think that should be it. I think he should be the one that's leading things. And right now, I kind of feel like Poles should be under the needle. Like y'all said, with some of these, you didn't trade it for players that don't play. The bait signing, the trade is notorious. Keenan Allen has been Keenan Allen. You can tell he's starting to slow down, which sucks because I was a big Keenan Allen fan. But you traded a fourth for him.
Right.
But you don't know if he's gonna re-sign next year, even though he said he wants to be here again. I mean, he said either that or LA. So what would it take to bring Keenan Allen back? You know what I'm saying? But you got players, you got Gerald Everett, who I don't understand what he's on the team for at the moment anymore. He's taking snaps away from Cole Kmet, or they just have started to phase Cole Kmet out, which I don't understand. You just paid him a shit ton of money, but he's not getting targets like he should.
It wasn't a Pole.
He's taking blocking snaps away from Mercedes Lewis, who I get it, he's 40, but the guy, like at the goal line at the 4th and 1 last week, we saw Gerald Everett in trying to set the edge,
block the run lane.
Yeah, I stopped blocking nobody.
For one of the first times in a long time, I just didn't care to watch that game. I seen maybe the first 2 quarters, and I was just like, this ain't gonna get any better. I know I wasn't finna piss myself off trying to watch that shit. We look bad, and they're not well coached right now. I mean, yeah, you can lay some of that at the feet of Thomas Brown, I guess now because he's the head coach, but he caught another shit situation. You asking this man to coach pretty much in the hardest portion of his schedule. Sucks. It absolutely sucks. You get your ass whooped by the Niners, and then you get your ass whooped by the Vikings. I don't know. Right at this point, I don't know what you do. You, of course, this offseason, like I said, you're gonna have to fix the churches like exponentially. It has to be done. You want to ask yourself some hard questions. I see people throw grades out for Tevin Jenkins, saying that when he's on the field, he's one of the 5 best offensive linemen on the field for guards. But Tevin Jenkins is always hurt. So, and how much is he going to ask for?
Right.
So you're potentially letting Tevin Jenkins walk, and more likely go to another team and be healthy, because that's just the Bears' MO at this point in life.
Do you guys think there's any truth to this that I just put up? Jimmy K talking about Ryan Pace was forced to head coach with John Fox, and he says Ryan Poles was forced to head coach. I feel like first time he may have been forced it, but last year when he came out and doubled down on him, that's when it became a Poles guy to me. You know, he had, and some people will say, well, management told him that he can't move on from him, and if that's the case, then.
Look, man, if that's the case, then that's exactly your problem. Somebody needs to speak up and say, "Hey, I feel like this is being happened to me. At the point I'm at, I don't give a fuck if you ruffle feathers in the management or the whatever the fucking McCaskies are supposed to be. Come out and be honest. I didn't choose this motherfucker, and they told me I had to keep him. If they get pissed off about it, they get pissed off about it, because at this point, I'm pretty sure if you came out and said that shit, 95% of the fan base will have your back.
Yeah. Well, they're going to fire you? I mean,
there's the timeline right there. We hired Poles the 25th of January, 2022. The Vikings hired Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah the next day. And then the next day after that, the Bears right away hired Matty Eberflus. It's whether or not you think that management told him, hey, hire this guy. Here's a few guys we like. And maybe Pohl says he had met him before, but we don't know. And then look how
the
long
same agent. Of course he's met.
They got the same agent. The Vikings took their time to find Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah. And when it happened, a lot of people questioned it because Kevin O'Connell, if I'm not mistaken, was quarterbacks coach in LA. He was, I don't know if he ever called plays or anything like that. So a lot of people question that hire, but it's turned out and he's probably going to win coach of the year this year. Whereas Eberflus was, I don't want to say he was forced on him, but from what David Kaplan said, they flew in Dan Quinn in the back of a freaking coach on a tiny little airplane from Dallas into Chicago. So whether they offered him the job or not, I don't know if Dan Quinn would have taken the daggone job. I mean, if you're getting treated that way on your way in, they didn't roll out a red carpet for you. George comes and picks you up in a Ford Taurus, whatever. They just.
We wonder why they have a reputation.
They run $1 billion business, a $6 billion business, like it's a mom and pop shop down on the corner, and they got to return the bottles for change at the end of the night. Like it makes no sense whatsoever. And until that gets changed, we won't see change. Look at the team we're playing today, the Detroit Lions. The way they did it, the Fords were notoriously cheap. They went out and got someone else to do the hiring. They end up with Dan Campbell, another hire that on the day of, a lot of people laughed at him. This dude is crazy, coming out talking about biting kneecaps, and he's under the tutelage of Sean Payton, but he's never called plays before. Again, we're seeing the same stuff. But when a coach has it, you just see it. And I never once saw it with Eberflus. Not one time from his opening press conference did he make me motivated to make a ham sandwich. Yeah, he's awful happy now on the beach. Whereas Dan Campbell
paid $20,000 a day not to coach the Bears.
Whereas Dan Campbell weekly motivates me, like just listening to his speeches in the locker room. Even when they lose, he'll come out and say, I took some chances on fourth down. We didn't make it. I tried to get an onside kick. He takes accountability. We heard it for 3 years and never saw it in Hallisall. And if you're Ben Johnson, the question is, do you want to come to this franchise? Do you want to come in here where you can see what's working in Detroit and you can see what's not working in Chicago? And you're at the bottom of the division, a tough division. You know what you're up against because you're in the division. If you're a Ben Johnson, obviously you're not going to turn down the interview. But are you really? Was this what you want? Are you going to choose this battle, or I don't know.
Choosing this battle would be to choose a team with the number one pick at quarterback that people said was supposed to be generational. You would be getting 5 picks in the top 100, probably top 5 in cap space. Man, pretty much. I feel like at that point you would have to let him have the majority of the say about how this roster is built.
Yeah.
So, how much control are they looking to give him? Would be the deciding factor to me. If they're deciding to give him the control to shape this roster the way he wants, then I can absolutely see him coming here, because with all those things being a positive, how could you not? You know what I'm saying? Yes, you're in one of the 2 top divisions in the fucking league. So you're gonna go against
the other
3 playoff teams.
Playoff teams. Other 3 teams.
Exactly. So. It's a legacy thing to me. If Ben Johnson wants to build a legacy and say that, hey, I'm one of the top offensive coordinators, play callers, whatever the case may be, I took a team that's notoriously bad on offense and usually is really badly coached and turned it around, then you'll be the talk of Chicago for centuries.
No, you never have to buy another drink or a steak in this city. You know, the 85 Bears still come in here and drink for free. Tooch, I don't know if you saw the picture of George McCaskey from last week's game, though. He seems, I mean, in the past, we've heard him say, Mom's pissed, Virginia's pissed, whatever. He looks like he's pissed at this point. And I think, I don't want to speculate, but I think it's polls because he gave polls, said, go trade for Claypool if that's who you think we need. Go trade for Ryan Bates if that's who you think we need. Go trade for Montez Sweat, who worked out last year, but this year has been regressed to the mean. He gave him the ability to make these trades. Go trade for Keenan Allen if you think he'll help our rookie quarterback out for half a year. Maybe we'll resign him, maybe we won't. We'll see where it goes from there. But he's giving Poles the ability to make these moves, and these moves are all backfiring and failing. And I think he's a fan just like we are. If I owned this team, I would have been pissed on Monday Night Football watching this team in a beautiful stadium that Kevin Warren helped build, in a beautiful stadium, watching your team get their asses kicked and look like they don't even have interest in finishing the season. I mean, we're seeing former All-Pro Jalen Johnson making business decisions out there on the field. You guys who historically are making plays are not now. And KB, I don't know how your cousin's feeling behind the scenes and all of these things, but I feel like George is pissed, and I think we're in to change it all. I don't think he's gonna let Poles stick around, honestly.
I feel like if he's pissed, then he needs to look at himself. Because if you have all the rumors that have come out saying that you were one of the big parts on why Eberflus was retained or even brought in the fucking first place because you wanted to be cheap, then no, don't get mad at Ryan Poles for doing what he believed was right by trying to go and get pieces to build a team. No, be mad at your fucking self for picking a coach that everybody knew, not people that didn't even watch football knew was going to be fired by next year. Like, no, bro, that's on you. The coaching is underneath that coach. So if the team's not well coached, that's your problem. Don't get mad at Poles.
Right.
Yeah, Poles then made moves. Sweat, I'm one way or the other with him because I said before when we were getting him, then I initially said that Chase Young to me would have been a better pick, but Montez Sweat was never a pure pass rusher. I said that shit when we got him. He's not a pure pass rusher.
Well, I feel like Eberflus said that. He said that
he's a well-rounded DN.
Right. They stopped the run to have the ability to rush the passer.
So and that's my big thing. You went and got him and you paid him like he's one of the top edge rushers in the game. He was never a top edge rusher.
He needs another rusher across from him to be effective.
Yeah, he needs somebody that's a pure pass rusher across from him.
And that's another draft pick they sent away, Darrell Taylor. They brought him in, and he can barely see the field. They drafted Austin Booker, who I like, but he's a 5th-round pick, kind of thin, needs to put on weight. Don Bob continues to keep a roster spot on this roster for what reason other than he was drafted by you. I
don't know.
But
he's still on the team, Dominique Robinson.
As far as I know, I mean,
but
I thought he's been gone for a while.
I will say that they've backed their way into a couple of decent pieces, like depth pieces. I like what Brian Coward brings, and there was a guy last week.
Do we have one blue chipper on this team?
Jonathan, I don't know.
Do we have one blue chipper on defense?
Anywhere.
Yeah. If you take emotion out of it, man, and you look at it from a actual, I say from a factual perspective. Yeah, we have blue chippers. You had Jalen Johnson. As much as people want to say, he's still a blue chipper. That man is probably still one of the top 3 or 4 damn fucking DBs in the league.
I'd say Kyler Gordon when he's healthy in the slot I like him a lot. I mean,
I'd say Kyler Gordon is probably one of the best slots.
What's that, Tooch?
He said he prefers the outside.
I don't care what he prefers. It's the coach puts you in the position that, and that's another thing. We thought Javon Dexter should have been nose and Pickens should have been the 3 tech, but we're not the coach. A lot of people are on Edmonds to go. I like Edmonds, but
I mean,
he
that's
was
it.
never.
We just have 2 cornerbacks who are like considered blue chips.
Well, we weren't done talking yet.
Oh yeah, I'm wondering. I like I said, I still give Sweat a blue chip. He's still a very, very solid player, but you have just him right now on the field. That man ain't gonna do shit.
And I think with a good D line, Edmonds has the ability to be a blue chip.
Yeah.
He was in Buffalo when he had guys taking up blocks. I think TJ Edwards is a highly underrated linebacker. He flies all over the field.
I love TJ Edwards.
You know, he's a jersey.
TJ
He might
Edwards
be a jersey guy. I might end up buying that jersey.
I mean, if you move to the other side of the ball, it's rough. At first I considered Cole Kmet one, but they nerfed him by not letting him see in the field. And then you got DJ Moore. You have to understandably, that motherfucker's upset. Yeah. I don't care what nobody say or him coming out and say he
just got paid a hell of a lot of money.
He got paid a hell of a lot of money just to see how bad the production of the offense then swung. It took how many weeks for them to say, "Oh, we should maybe start trying to get the ball in his hand." The fact that he looked like the best running back on the team, and he's the wide receiver. He's supposed to be a number 1 wide receiver. I'm just saying, dog. Yeah, you're not putting people in positions to be successful, and you see people are visibly pissed off. The team is not built well. It's not. They tried to build back ends before they built the front end. And now it's starting to rear its ugly head. We have barely any depth on D line. You have barely any depth. Well, you can't even say depth. You barely have any old linemen. Any.
Well, we got a super chat from my man Matthew.
Oh shit, Bo Cheesy.
He said, "Guys, we're getting into old Lions territory. Been bad for too long. Not enough.
He's keeping us in Starbucks, coaching. Man. Appreciate it.
Something's got to give." Well, you're absolutely right, Matthew. We used to say Lions are going to Lions, and now they're saying Bears are going to Bears. If there's a way to mess it up, we find a way to mess it up. But that should give you pause. That should give you hope for the future when you see the Detroit. And it took them 50 years, I guess, but they were able to dig themselves out of that. That is a team that went 0-16 before. At least we haven't dug that deep. I kind of wish that we could lose out and get a better draft pick, but right now we're sitting at 9, and the teams behind us, I don't know how many of them are gonna win enough games to get in front of us. But yeah, I mean it feels like old Lions. It does. I feel it every week. I do want to, after the super chat runs out, touch on Robbie's comment here. He says, "What do you think of the Kentucky defensive tackle Deontay Walker?" I like Walker a lot when he's motivated. But he's in Billings' position. They play the same position, so it would be what would they do there? Would they push Billings back to be a depth piece, or hopefully not? But would they release him and move on from KB's cousin there at nose tackle? But yeah, I mean he's good when he's motivated and he wants to play. There are plays that you can see where he takes them off, and maybe a rotational piece, but it depends on where you're going to draft him at. He's a big, strong dude from Detroit, so he's not scared of the cold. And if they can snag him in the second round, I'd be happy. I wouldn't say pick him in the top 10. But if he falls to the second round, because like I said, there is tape where he takes plays off, even at the goal line when it's most important. You'll see him hand fighting with a guard or a center, and I'm like, dude, you're big and strong. What are you doing? I mean, sometimes you see him take over games. Like watch him against Georgia. For whatever reason, he turns it on against Georgia. But if they grab him in the second round, I'd be happy with that. With an offensive tackle in the first round. And as a biased Kentucky fan, I'd probably buy his jersey. But yeah, Deion Walker's a good dude. We'll see what they do there. I completely lost my train of thought there.
Oh no, you're doing good. Let's say, man, what
right.
we got? He's voted. Oh Lord, not yeah. Have we talked about this game at all?
I haven't. Nope. I bet against us already. I don't know if I said that online or not. But
look, we're not winning another game this season. That's very evident. But at least play well. God damn it.
Yeah, it makes me feel bad for Thomas Brown. I mean, he's finally given a true opportunity to be an interim head coach and show people what they're made of. And the team didn't respond. This is what they wanted. They wanted Eberflus out of there. We heard about the locker room after Thanksgiving. And remember, that was a 3-point game. You know, that was a close game. And then since then, it's just they moved Thomas Brown up maybe too quick. Maybe he's like a Vic Fangio where he prefers to be up in the box and he's not very good on the grass, as they say. But it sucks that he's finally given the opportunity and the team just kind of didn't respond the way I thought they would respond. There's talent on this roster. There's talent there. I feel like they don't care. I think DJ Moore even said this week something about trying to fix things this offseason. Like he's looking at the offseasons.
Got the numbers right there. Brown is offensive coordinator weeks 11 through 13. Look at him as head coach. Look at the numbers on offense. 12.5 points per game really stands out to me. Points per game with him as offensive coordinator, 22. You know, offensive success rate was almost 50%. You know, yards per play, almost a yard and a half extra per play. A DVOA is negative with coach with what's the guy that's take over for him?
Damn.
Passing success rate 61%, 275 yards passing per game versus 168. You know, the Bears took away the best thing about Caleb Williams' progress when they made Brown head coach.
Seems like it.
It's not Bate or some shit like that. Is that's the new OC.
What's his name?
I thought it was Beatty or Beatty.
Beatty. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't pronounce his name. Yeah, it's Beatty or whatever.
Wide receivers coach, maybe, or something. I want to say.
Yeah, he was wide receivers coach. Yeah. And they asked Chris Morgan this week about the left tackle position, and he said he didn't know whether it should be Braxton or Karan. Like,
Braxton hasn't cleared about concussion protocol yet, has he?
I don't know, but I mean,
let me just check.
You talk about a coach that's not lived up to his job. He's the offensive line coach, and the offensive line has historically been awful under him. But when they brought in the whole new offensive coaching staff, they kept him for some reason. He's questionable. He's a full participant on Thursday and Friday.
Full participants. I imagine it's going to be Braxton Jones today, which bodes well for the Bears today. I mean, look at
Wait, can you bring that back up? Is Tevin?
Yeah. Yep. Kevin Lemaity's questionable with that calf injury. Now, calf injuries take a while to heal, and they're hard to play on, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, especially O-line where you got to get leverage and push. I wouldn't mind seeing Karan get a shot at left guard. Maybe he'd be better in a phone booth than he would be out there on an island on his own. Which that's another thing. You've got a 3rd round rookie quarterback out of Yale, and you leave him out there on his own the whole game. Don't chip. Don't. And we watch our quarterback get absolutely killed. I just
man, there's only it would be Larry Borum or Jake Curran to take.
I don't
Tevin
have
Jenkins.
I have no desire
or Kieran. If you're not playing Kieran Amagaji, it would be Jake Curran or Larry Borum. If you're not playing Kieran,
I have no desire in Larry Borum. The last time we saw him was on Thanksgiving, where he didn't even touch a guy who came in and killed Caleb, and then everyone said, well, Caleb can't take that sack there and that. Like, bro, did you watch the play or are you just saying things? Like, I don't. We've got another super chat from Coach
All right,
Easy.
Oh no.
The people grading Caleb Williams, in my opinion, are out of line. You can't grade a rookie behind this O-line on his second head coach and third OC, all in his rookie year. I mean, it's
rookie
true.
Year. Yeah,
it's true. His rookie year,
he's the first this rookie quarterback. He gets criticized like a 5-year veteran. Don't you think?
Yeah.
It's not fair.
He's being criticized because the other rookie quarterbacks are looking better than him. He's being criticized because we were told he was generational. That is by our media and most of the other media. He's being criticized because we were told that this year this team was supposed to look a certain way, and it was going to be because of
what they said.
Yeah. Look, the Bears have been a football team for 105 years, 104 years, whatever it is. This season that he's put together will be in the top 5 of all Bears quarterbacks seasons as far as stat wise.
Yeah. That is actually
and the thing
true.
is, Jaden Daniels has fallen off lately. Cliff Kingsbury offense falls off a cliff in the middle of the season. Bo Nix has been fine, but it's not like he's looking like he lost to the Chargers on Thursday, no one, but we're not. They just talk about Caleb because he's number 1 overall pick. We haven't seen Michael Penix. We're going to see him this weekend. They finally benched Kirk after a month of sucking, and now we're going to see Michael Penix Jr. to see what he can be. But the rookie of the year should be the tight end in Las Vegas. It shouldn't even be one of these quarterbacks. Let's be real. He's
Kirk Cousins recently. He has no zip on the ball. That's why they're going to Penix.
Yeah.
He's nothing on the ball.
Kurt was washed. My brother is a Falcons fan. Me and him have been having this conversation for quite some time now. He knew the writing was on the wall a month ago. It was just like, yeah, man, he's done everything he can do. They need to move on. But then he's kind of worried because he don't want Penix to come in, and then it's like, all right, man, we're trying to make a playoff push, but if your quarterback can't throw the ball, brother, you gotta do something.
Barely excellent point.
Yep.
Also, he was teamed with one of the best coaches of all time in Sean Payton, who built an offense around Drew Brees and then found the clone of Drew Brees coming out of college and just stuck him back in his offense. And what'll you know, it works all of a sudden. And we'll see if they go and get his Jimmy Graham this offseason.
I like what I've seen from Caleb Williams this season, man. He really has a great arm.
I mean,
does he need to a lot of work? Yeah, he's a rookie though.
Yeah,
he needs to improve his accuracy. But we did it again to another quarterback. Where's my? We have a habit of accidentally destroying quarterbacks.
I don't think it's accidentally.
Look at the progression. Look at our quarterbacks.
I do the same thing you do.
Yeah. Cutler to Mitch to Justin to Caleb. Finally, our quarterback's dead at the bottom there.
Mitch. I don't think Mitch was good coming out of college. I wanted Watson. Of course, I was wrong at this point.
I wanted Mahomes.
Mahomes doing what Mahomes is doing. I know you and Aldo on the Mahomes train.
It wasn't just him. I said something about his ass too.
But just the arm, man.
That was after Watson.
Never saw it with Mahomes.
I love the arm.
The arm, great. Texas Tech, though, how many quarterbacks did they have come out that had major numbers, big touchdowns, all these things?
Yep.
And I didn't.
Big
it was
numbers.
hard for me to trust it with Mahomes. It's like trusting a wide receiver from Tennessee in their offense. They put up big numbers there because they're standing on the sideline, and it stretches your defense out so that their numbers are bigger. But
if Mahomes went somewhere else, he probably he didn't have Andy Reid. He probably wouldn't be as good.
We'd have ruined his ass.
Yep.
It comes down to pairing your quarterback with a coach, and we had the wrong damn one, and that's another reason why Ryan Poles has got to go. because he backed that man.
This is
back
what we do to quarterbacks, KB.
Yeah,
We're killing them.
Mummify him.
Do you guys know Barstool Carl? This is what the Bears need. We're not that far away.
Oh, yeah, I seen that, bro.
List of about 10 things, right?
Yeah, I seen that shit, bro. I shook my head.
Every year we need that, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Every year. It's every year.
I kind of agree with Robbie, though. You just think of what if we can fix the trenches. If you're a GM and you come in here and you sign Zach Martin and you draft the right left tackle and you grab a center, I'm starting to see the center out of North Dakota State this year. I'm not a draft evaluator. I'm a fan. I'm like George McCaskey.
Verlissimo messaged me about him this morning. North Dakota State lineman.
You fix your O-line. Get another pass rusher to go opposite of Montez Sweat. You've already got pieces in your secondary. I like our linebacking core. I know Tremaine Edmonds is getting a lot of hate, but KB, even Big Cuz said that's the leader on that defense. Maine. That's what he said was Maine.
I was gonna say just to say this about Tremaine Edmonds. Y'all want to talk about him not playing well? Y'all remember how Roquan Smith started looking when that D line started to regress? I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yep. Brian Urlacher couldn't play without the D-line being good. When Tommy Harris went down, they had issues.
As far as, for building an O-line, we have an offensive lineman who's a GM. We should be good.
Two of them. Ian Cunningham, too.
Right.
Matthew, again. Big Fo Cheesy dropping money today. Another $5.
Right, you out here throwing these coffee drink numbers at us, brother. You better calm down.
Yeah, I love it.
Plus,
go get me a coffee.
CW's is taking and the quarterback would
58 times, 58 sacks. It's the most in the NFL. If he's sacked 15 more times this season, he'll break the record. David Carr was sacked 72 times in his rookie season.
He probably will, which is sad to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if he'll break it. I think he'll be close, but King Buka makes a good point here. With a good center, the Bears would be 9-5. I think with good coaching, just good coaching decisions, and we've went over it. It may not have worked under Thomas Brown, but I still think it was the right decision to let Eberflus go when we did. I mean, if you look at the Colts game, you got 4th and 1 at the goal line, and you try and do an option play, that ruins that game. Then you got the Hail Mary game. That's 2 wins. Then you've got 3 games in a row where you lose by blocked field goals, essentially.
You lost the locker room on the Hail Mary.
I agree.
Yep.
Jalen Johnson was a big part of that because he even said, he went on the score and said, I've been a winner since Pop Warner. This is – and then the 5 years I've been with the Bears, I've never been a winner, and he's just –
Well, we've had a losing season 11 of the past 12 seasons. The only winning season we've had in the past 12 years was 2018 with Nagy.
Yep. And then you wonder why, you get people like David Montgomery that says, I'm not playing here anymore. This whole idea of people saying,
we won't be playing today
couldn't. Right. Yeah. He tore his ACL or MCL, one or the other. But you got people that's like, Poles didn't re-sign him. No, dog, he was never going to re-sign here. And I have that on good faith, hearing that from people who are actually close to him. He was not coming back, dog. He was done. When you lose too much, then you don't see the writings on the wall for shit getting better.
Yeah. That's why the people feel that we need a culture change, that these guys have become used to losing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm with Barely Small on this too.
I don't know what the right answer is, though. I mean, if you look at Mike Vrabel, he looks like a culture fixer, but at the same time, are you going to get
his last 2 seasons? He had losing records.
Exactly. Are you going to get good Mike Vrabel, or are you going to get John Fox 2.0? And then with Ben Johnson, absolutely, he's been a play caller for more, but how do you know he's the leader? How do you know? Because Dan Campbell's the leader, unquestioned. That's his team, So you don't really know what you're getting out of a Ben Johnson. If you bring in a guy who's only been doing it for a year, I love Liam Cohen, but I'm biased because he came to Kentucky, and I've seen what he did with Will Levis and what he's now done with Baker Mayfield. So I'm biased. I like Liam Cohen, but I don't know how he'd be as the head coach. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult decision, and I'm glad I don't have to make it, but I will criticize them no matter what decision they make. No, that'll be a big question for this offseason. I'm sure we'll get into it about head coach, possible GM. We'll hear the names that come out, and then we'll, just like we did this time where we all gave our opinion and none of us said Eberflus. We'll do that all over again. But it is 11 o'clock.
The biggest mystery, guys, is whether or not Poles wanted to fire Eberflus after last season. And there's rumors that he did, and there's rumors that he didn't. If he did, and we weren't allowed to interview guys like Jim Harbaugh, then it's on the organization. If he wanted to stick with Eberflus, it's on Poles.
When they asked him directly about it and said, "What do you see in Eberflus to stick with him?" He said, "I see him in the locker room every day. I see what he's doing behind the scenes."
I agree. That's what I'm leaning too.
So he made
the mistake.
You backed him. Yep. That was your guy. Now, if the upper management said we're not bringing in Harbaugh, okay, but there's other options out there. I wanted Harbaugh, but if they don't believe in that, you had to move on. You knew you were had the number 1 overall pick. You knew you were getting Caleb Williams, and on top of that, you brought in Waldron. How did Shane Waldron talk you into being the OC? When you interviewed Thomas Brown and you interviewed Cliff Kingsbury, so that's another.
Any of those guys would have taken Eberflus's job. Eberflus wouldn't have had anybody else but Waldron.
Hell, Thomas Brown took Eberflus's job, so I don't want to hear that shit.
Exactly.
Like, let's be real. I'll say this. I felt like they went and got Shane Waldron because you've seen the success in Seattle. We all said it. I mentioned I thought that was going to be one of the best hires we had this offseason. But you seen very quickly he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And once that was very evident, then it becomes, okay, the veteran play caller didn't work. What the hell do you do next? Which is what you going to look at this year. Do you go get the veteran coach? Do you go get a rookie coach? I don't know what the fucking answer is either. Either way it goes, it's going to be rough.
Dave Tobe, he's been a special teams coordinator for years.
John Harbaugh, who was here?
Yeah.
At one point.
Hester was his guy.
So it's to do with Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I like the idea of special teams coordinator because you talk about having to get the most out of your players. As a special team coordinator, you're grabbing the guys at the bottom of the roster and having to put together something viable. It's he's worth an interview at least. And Bellissimo said Sylvie and David Hall both said they had sources that Flus was all Poles and Kevin Warren was the reason they didn't hire Harbaugh. I agree. Sylvie kind of got knocked by taking something that Bajan's dad said and putting that out there as a source. But David Hall, and you talk about a guy who's been all about Caleb Williams. David Hall has been blowing Caleb Williams for 2 years, wanting him so bad to work out. And I don't know. But it's 11 o'clock and we haven't even talked about this game, fellas. Can you pull up those? I know you've got the injuries on there, Tooch, for the Lions. Yes.
Yep, there's the defense. They got a lot of guys out on defense, man.
Lee McNeil's a big one.
That don't mean a damn thing. That don't mean a fucking thing for us.
Yep.
To me, y'all don't even have to put this shit up because my thing is this: who's gonna be out there playing for us? Who's gonna want to play for us? To me, I'm at the point I'm not even watching games now. I don't care to watch the games anymore. They play like shit. Every fucking week we play like shit. So why do I care?
Sounds like Pochettino's right there with you.
Yeah, we're gonna lose this fucking game no matter. We're not winning another game, bro. It don't matter who the fuck we playing. They're trash. The whole team is trash.
Relatively healthy on offense.
Their
offensive line is
the main one.
The top 5. Those guys are gonna. Look at the numbers. I got the numbers against our offensive line. Was it? Let me see. Well, here's the blitz rate. They blitz a lot, but they don't get a lot of pressure. They don't get a lot of sacks, but they do blitz a lot. So that's something to watch there. Let's see. So Detroit defense versus our offense, they've got a big advantage. You know, if there's a lot of guys out though, you know, our offense has been really just fell off a cliff the second half of the season, especially the last couple of weeks. Let's see, our run defense has really look at the last two games, 123 yards a game, man. Now we got to stop Jahmyr Gibbs in that offensive line.
Yeah, it's almost like they missed somebody in the middle.
This is the big weakness here is the Bears can't stop the run with Billings out. Yeah, I don't like the chances today, but the thing is look, here's the numbers: Lions versus the Bears, 2-6-1 against the spread as road favorites. You got to like that, you know.
I mean, they didn't cover on
as
Thanksgiving.
Favorites overall, 3-8-1 against the spread.
Yeah. They didn't cover on Thanksgiving.
They didn't cover on Thanksgiving. And then record against the spread last 20 games, 7-11-2. I think the Bears can keep it close, but whether or not they win the game, I think maybe Billings or KB, not Billings, Ryan. I think I don't think they'll win the game.
They're not winning this game. They're not. There's zero faith that they do anything positive in my mind at this moment.
I mean, they
the
got
Vikings
nothing to
game.
play for.
That's the problem. We had to play for against the Vikings.
Yeah.
What do we have to play for against the Vikings? We play like shit.
There's the Eagles, Vikings, and Lions are all 12-2. Man, one of those places, the road to the NFC Championship is going to go through one of those three cities. I mean, Packers are kind of a dark horse, but if the Lions, Vikings drop a couple, and the Packers have a very winnable game on Monday night at home versus the Saints. What are the Packers right now? 10-3, 11-3.
I think so.
11-3.
Trying to get our score predictions.
Yeah, no faith either.
None. I'm surprised he giving us 17.
Yeah.
KB, how's Big Cuz doing, man? Have you talked to him?
Last time I heard, because I'm kind of letting him do his thing right now because he is kind of been getting ready for doing things with the Walter Payton Award thing and stuff like that. So from my understanding, he's doing very good health wise.
Flash got up earlier. There's our guy. Man of the year.
He's got some other things going on. Really happy for him. So it's just one of the things, man. But he is doing good. He's doing good. He's healing up very well. So just how time works. Just gotta let the time get past and he get back.
Did he tell you how he felt after winning Man of the Year?
Yeah, we ain't had that conversation yet. I know he was shocked when they first said something to him about it, though. I do know that. So,
well, every time we come on, I try to talk to him about what he does off the field. I like to get people to see Big Cuz not just as a big dude in a helmet. You know what I'm saying? I like to hear what he likes to do off the field and with his free time and stuff. I know they put up the video of him getting nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, and I just saw his arm was in the sling, and I was like, man, made me feel bad for him. But I'm glad he's healing well and coming along. Hopefully he can get his strength back. That's the biggest thing coming off the back is he can't lift or do anything like that. He's got to get strength back. And
KB, I think before you came on, AC and I talked about whether or not you'd shut Caleb Williams down to avoid any kind of injury for 2025 that would keep him out of the entire season. Any thoughts?
No, you don't do that. This is football. People get hurt. I understand maybe we should, pillow wrap him, but then he's not going to get the game experience. So
he's got 14 games though.
That's 14 games is fine, but
just this organization, they're snake bit. They're just 2025. If there's no Caleb, let's say, God forbid, something happens to him. He's out for all of 2025. Man, the next season, man, Bears fans are just gonna be like, "Fuck this."
If there's no Caleb, then everybody in the chat that's been calling for Bagent for the last month,
let's go.
Their wish, and then they can see
the 10% of Bears fans who want Tyson Bagent.
Well, I mean,
it'll be their
obviously,
year.
I'm a Caleb guy, but if it happened, like I'm with KB, man, he can't. What he needs to learn and continue to grow with. He's not going to learn by looking at an iPad or sitting on the sideline.
Justin Fields learned watching Bagent. get rid of the ball fast.
No, he
you know,
didn't.
yeah.
He learned so
last
much
year.
that now he's on the bench in Pittsburgh. That's how much. That's how
when he
much.
came back, he was
never going to unseat Russell, man. Let's be real.
He was starting over him.
He was starting over because Russell was hurt.
When Mike Tomlin made that switch, he stood alone on his own and made that switch. That's the kind of head coach you need.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy
exactly.
I mean,
that's exactly who you need.
They're in first place. Well, tied for first place now, but I think they own the
they
own the tiebreaker over. They own the tiebreaker over the Ravens. So still be a better conference record.
They split. They split.
But look at their conference records. The Ravens have a few more losses against the AFC than
Steelers do.
Yeah, because of they lost to the Raiders like week 3 or 4.
Yeah, so wild.
I know. At home versus the Raiders, they couldn't stop Gardner Minshew.
Raiders have won 2 games, and that's one of them.
I know one of them was against the Ravens. Ridiculous. But yeah, they have more AFC losses than the Steelers. That's just the tiebreaker. I mean,
I know every time I trust the Steelers on the 12-ounce curl route podcast 6-pack challenge, they let me down. So I picked against them this week, and it worked. I want to go around the room and give score prediction, bowl prediction, close this thing out. I know you got fantasy football coming. Tucci, you on today?
Fantasy football game coming up. Yep, after the show with
so
the
if
Goon
you're in your playoffs like I am, hopefully you've already set your lineup because you've already missed Thursday and a few games on Saturday. So, but tune in to Tooch and Goon and
I couldn't
Adam.
do
I'm
anything
playing
last
against
week
Adam.
Barroom was
your
like
team quit on you.
My team just did not. Nobody did anything except Chase
Tooch
Brown.
put up 38 points last week, KB.
Well, I end up finishing with 55 though.
Oh, congrats! I just saw the 38, and I was like,
"Hey." Yeah, I know. Just nobody did anything. You know, nobody.
Man.
I think it was like that for everybody because I know I didn't fit my lineup the way it needed to be, and I'm like, oh man, I got Mixon on the bench, I got this person on the bench, and then I looked at it, I was like, shit, nobody did anything anyway, so fuck it.
They didn't do a whole lot on my bench either. But we'll close this thing out. KB, you start us off, and then I'll go to Tooch and I'll try and finish this out here.
Shit. Game predictions and bowl predictions and all that shit, right? Jesus. Of course, the Lions are winning this game. I'm trying to.
Cornelius has got Bears winning.
That Cornelius is tripping. Bruh. I'm trying to think of a reasonable score, but it's like a part of me is like I feel like Dan Quinn just like, man, run the score up on their ass.
It's a Ben Johnson interview. Yep. It's an interview in front of the home crowd.
It is.
Yeah.
I say 37-13 Lions. Maybe they pour on it in the first half and then take off the gas a little bit in the second half, but I don't see us scoring points. So of course, Lions win. Bold predictions? I have none. My bold prediction is the Bears are going to be on the field playing. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? As far as shouts, man, shouts to everybody, man, especially for Chiefs, bro. Throwing $15 this round is nasty work right now.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir. We appreciate you. Happy holidays to everybody in the chat, man. Love you boys, man. We were all starting to be a little snake bitten, man. Sometimes these podcasts are getting harder and harder to talk about, bro. Because it's just like you have no hope. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. So for people to still get on here and listen to us talk, man, we appreciate y'all doing it. Appreciate everybody in the bar room, all the changes that are going on and things that have been done. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's movement, and that's movement is always growth.
Yeah.
That being said, like I said, shit. Boy, that thing gonna catch fire on your head. Crump is gonna fall off the bottom of that bitch. You hear me?
Bears are winning now. Bears are winning now.
Hey, right. That's all we needed was him to put that damn hat on. Right. Boy, you should have did that shit 10 weeks ago.
Said
Lucky
MVP
hat
would be the ref blowing the final whistle.
Bruh. But like I said, man, shout out to everybody in the bar room, man. Shout out to everybody that's, like I said, still rocking with us, man. Because at this point, there really ain't no reason.
Yeah.
Uh, so man, that's all I want to say, man. Love y'all boys, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
Love you too, brother. All right, go ahead, Tooch.
All right, man. I'm gonna say, I bet the Lions put 4 touchdowns on us, man. 28, 24.
In the first half, or are we talking total?
No, I mean, look, I think the Bears might have a chance in the second half to tie or win. I think they cover the spread. I think we're getting 7 right now. Lions up to 7. Do I think the Bears win? Probably not. I mean, these players, look, it all depends on how motivated at 4-10 the players are to play the Lions. You know, I mean, the Lions are playing for something. They have to win to stay in, to get either a first round bye or, the playoffs come through Detroit, where indoors they play a hell of a lot better than they do outside. That said, the Lions, outdoors, they're a different team. That's why I think the Bears can kind of keep it within 7. Would I be surprised if the Bears get blown out? No, because the past 3 games have gone into the locker room down minimum 2 touchdowns. But that's on the road. I have the trend in the betting against the Bears in the first quarter, first half, has been really profitable. If the Bears come out and they don't score again in the first half, it'll be over. It'll be over pretty quick. But by third quarter, it'll be over. Look, most valuable Bear? Crap. I mean, it's so hard to pick somebody. Let me just say I'll pick I'll bet you Keenan Allen finds the end zone, maybe 7 catches and a touchdown. I'll take the old veteran. He's been getting a lot of first looks from Caleb.
He has been. They've kind of been force feeding him quite a bit.
Looking his way a lot, so I'll say that. But yeah, 28-24 Lions. Oh, yeah. Shout out. Sorry. My 2 co-hosts, of course. Merry Christmas to both of you, and Merry Christmas to all the Barflies people in the chat. Hope everyone has a lovely Christmas. And Thursday, we got the game. We didn't decide whether we're doing a show Thursday morning, though. Huh? You working Thursday?
I'm
off until New Year's after Monday, but you'll be working, right?
KB's working.
We'll have to talk about it later, but I'll catch up Fantasy Football Goon after the show, and then all the other shows on the bar room Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and just everyone enjoy the holidays, whether or not the Bears win or lose.
Absolutely, yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. I don't want to leave anybody out when I say all this. Happy holidays to everybody, and Happy New Year. Threw on my Bears Santa hat because I only get to wear it once or twice a year. I gotta be honest, fellas, as much as I've sat here and bitch moaned and complained all game, for some reason, and I think it's the Lions injury report, the lack of, because they're down. Aleem McNeil is huge. That's a huge loss for them in the middle of their defensive line. I don't think Bears win, but I think there's a fight today. I think, and the easiest bet for me to talk about betting is the over today. Give me the over, because Lions defense is not good, and our defense is all of a sudden not good. So I think both these teams score points, and maybe the bold prediction is that the Bears score in the first half, because we haven't been doing it lately.
Yep.
I think it's a big high scoring game. I still think the Lions win, but I think it's like 35-24, 35-28, something in that ballpark.
A lot of points.
Awful lot of points. I think so. My MVP is going to be Caleb. I think Caleb comes out and maybe has another hat trick today. Throw 3 touchdowns on this Detroit Lions team that's beat up. Zadarius Smith is their top pass rusher with Hutch out and Davenport out and McNeil out. So they'll have to focus on him. Matthew Fochese with another super chat. Don't let Bears ruin your holidays. They don't care about us, so don't care about them till they win. I'm I'm still gonna watch every game. I'm not in KB's shoes where he's not even tuning in. I'm gonna tune in to watch them lose. But they'll never kill my holiday spirit. Yeah, but and then so I got my score prediction, my bowl prediction, my MVP. Shout outs to you boys. Come on here. KB, my man, good to see you. I'm glad you got through the first part of the holidays. I know next week will probably be rough. Maybe a Christmas tree does something that we don't want, but make sure you water your Christmas trees if you have a real tree. Right, KB? And then shout out to my man Tooch for always coming on here. Obviously, stay tuned for the Goon and Tooch to talk about some fantasy football. But like, comment, subscribe to the Barroom Network, and hit the notification bell to tell you when we go live. But we, the Barfly Tailgate Show, always go live every Sunday. I believe next week we'll end up doing a recap show probably on Sunday night, because with Thursday, day after Christmas, and we all got kids and all those things, it might just be easier to come on here Sunday and do a recap show. But like, comment, subscribe, and do all those things. And until next week, we'll just leave everybody with a Merry Christmas and a bear down.
Bear down.